Welcome back to another episode of Shall We Proceed? I am here with you again. I know you missed me because I've missed you. This is episode number 11. I'm extremely excited because I have a special guest today, Rachel D. Garrison, awesome woman, creator, influencer, educator, author extraordinaire. But before we get going, you know what I want you to do. Share this post. Look at that. Just you guests can't. They don't act right. Share this post for me. Have a watch party. Subscribe to me on everywhere that you know I am. And other than that, welcome. If you have any questions for us, please put them in the comments. We'll try to answer as many as we can. So today I have Rachel D. Garrison.
Hey, love.
Hey, she's been here before on my show on episode number 7, Single Folk Shit Part 2. And she's here again today on a much calmer situation. So tell everyone about you.
Well, today you guys are getting writer bait today. I am a writer, entrepreneur, teacher, mother, life coach. So that's a little bit about me. Creative, of course. So yeah.
That's really
what?
That's it.
For right
and
now.
Thanks for tuning in. It's been real. Thank you.
What
You're
else
so
would
much
you like me to
more than
say?
that. You have 2 books.
I have 2 books. I said author, you know,
Yes.
but you want to go into detail. So I have 2 books I published last year.
Your website.
I have a website, yes, racheldgarrison.com. My 2 books, Chasing Unicorns. This is my first book that came out last year, January.
Very good.
This is my life work, guys. This is a book of poetry. And my second book I published in December of last year called #So I Know It's Real. And it's a collection of poetry and prose concerning different aspects of, I would consider healthy dating, relating, etc.
So since you're talking about healthy dating and relating.
Yes, love.
Yes. It's amazing to me anyone that can sit down and actually put their thoughts onto paper.
Mm-hmm.
I've attempted it. I've tried it. I can't do it. I'd rather just talk about it and someone else can write it down. I don't have that skill, and I just admire you for that. So, but there's always a reason. There's always some catalyst that gets someone to do certain things.
Uh-huh.
So what was the trigger? What was the thing that happened in your life to say, I need to put all of what I'm feeling, what I'm going through into words and put them into black and white and have it out there for the world?
Well, I've been writing since high school. I have all these notebooks. I have floppy disks when they still was out, if y'all remember those. That's telling my age, I guess, of poems. And, I type them out, print them out, whatever. And, in college, I want to be a poet laureate. And I've learned that you might not make a lot of money as a writer. And I kind of put that dream to the back burner because I wanted to be successful and I wanted to make a lot of money and live comfortably. I don't want to be a struggling artist. I did.
Right.
But I still continue to write. And probably like July of 2017, a friend of mine, Naita Wilson,
Shout out.
PR extraordinaire. I'm gonna shout my girl out for Envisions Communications. Go ahead and look her up. But she published a book in June or July, and she invited me to her signing party. And seeing her, I was proud of my friend, and it helped me to see that it was possible, and it wasn't as hard as I had thought it would be. And so I started to ask questions, ask my Facebook friends. My network seems to be very wide and large. So I'm just asking people who knows a published author, who is a published author. People are tagging people, and people are commenting, I am. So I'm inboxing and asking questions. And I said, okay, I'm going to publish my book by December. Now, this is like July.
So you gave yourself a deadline.
I gave myself a deadline. It's the first thing. I want to have this done by my birthday, which is December of that year. And I did not actually start in July for whatever reason. Then I had a breakup.
Okay.
And during Hurricane Harvey, for those of you who haven't heard this story yet. So there's a breakup during Hurricane Harvey, and I'm, all in my feelings. And I'm sitting there in my bed, and I'm like, this nigga ain't worried about me. This nigga ain't worried. He's living his best life. Like, you need to go ahead and live your best life and do what you need to do. And I literally rolled over grabbed my laptop and I started to write. Some of it is a collection of things that I've written in the past, and then some of it is brand new from that particular moment in my life. So that's how Chasing Unicorns came about. Like, you better live your best life. That nigga ain't worry about you. He living his life. You gonna live your life and do what you need to do for you. And
so
that's how it all kind of started.
Thank him in a way.
Almost definitely. Here's a copy.
Yeah,
he does.
Because I know you said that he inspired one of the ones we brought up.
About half of the book is about him to some degree, and its others are collections of a mixture of men that have helped and hurt me, which also I guess helped me as well over the course of like from college up until then.
So we can find your books on your website, definitely, right?
Yes, Rachel.com, RachelDGarrison.com. If you go to shop, I have these books, and if you order from that website, I'll send you a signed copy by me. I also have some nice merchandise. I have a couple of tanks for my ladies that say "My love is magical." For my mommies, I have a new one. We say I'm a mommy. No, you're a baddie with babies.
Oh,
so
nice.
I have a tank for my mommies that say "baddie with babies." Because that's what we are. We still baddies. I don't care, how many kids you got. You can still be fly. And I have some hoodies for the wintertime. And I have some shirts for my men that say these arms are magical. So
nice.
Check those out.
I wonder why do you what do you think it is that draws us to do our best work in the midst of our hurt?
Because it's real.
But isn't happiness real?
And I write from happiness as well. Like I write about whatever I'm feeling at the time, and so I think we feel it the most when when we have these traumatic events or when we have these high mountaintop events, and so we feel it as raw, and you can write from that easily versus, well, for me at least, versus trying to channel it sometimes and then you're forcing it, but you're writing as you feel it at that time.
Do you think it was therapy for you, definitely, the writing process? Or what else did you do besides that to heal from it?
Yeah, it definitely helped to process the thoughts I had, to reconcile the feelings that I had with the thoughts I had about the breakup, about relationship, what I learned, what I gained, all those things. So it's definitely helped.
And the title, Chasing Unicorns. Explain the title to me, please.
Chasing Unicorns is about chasing fantasies. Oftentimes we have these fanciful ideas of what relationships should look like, what our partners should look like, be like, what the relationship is, and we're often disappointed because we don't get that. And so we're constantly like chasing the high, like, okay, this wasn't good enough, that wasn't it. Oh, it didn't work out, let me go to the next one. And it may not be that the person wasn't the right person. It may be that we still have not really we don't understand how to relate to someone else. And so we're just constantly chasing a fantasy without actually looking at ourselves and saying, how can I grow to be better, to be ready for someone else, and how I can grow with another individual versus looking for something ready-made.
So with your book, are you hoping the reader finds themselves in it and is able to heal? Because a lot of times I've noticed is we're in denial about our emotions and denial about the hurt and how we place it, and we still put blame upon the other person.
Absolutely.
When a lot of it is 50-50. A lot of it may be you're not recognizing those signs were there ahead of time. You didn't pay attention. It took a major something hard for you to realize this shit ain't for me. And we read all these books, we get all this help, we listen to all these people, we still walk away as damaged, as broken, as in denial, still wanting a unicorn, which, as we know, does not exist. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break anyone's heart. Does not exist. But what is your hope for the reader when they read? Because this is your life work. You said Chasing Unicorn is your life work.
This is my life work.
I mean, when I read it, you poured yourself into it. I knew that one particular point, like that. This means something here. And it was like, yeah, that's him. I'm like, oh, okay. So what are you hoping the reader will gain from this one? And then also, what will they gain from your second book?
Okay, so the first book, I want my readers to find themselves in this book. And I think in my back cover, I say that this is our story. This is not my story as much as it is everyone's story. As you can find yourself at some point, male or female. I've had male readers read and say, man, this reminded me of when I was going through my divorce.
I love the fact that both men and women can enjoy this too, yeah.
And so I want them to find themselves, because a lot of times we feel like we are the only ones going through this, like something's wrong with me. It's me. Like, I see all these people with these nice relationships and they're, hashtag relationship goals, all of that. And it's like, it's something's wrong. It's something wrong with me, you know? And so when you see that it's not just you, I want people to identify with themselves in this book and identify with me to say that it's not me. I'm not alone. I do have these feelings. I felt this for this person. Oh, this reminds me of so-and-so. Like, I like when people tell me this reminds me of,
I went through that. I was like, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't like the triggers. I did not like the down memory lane that I went down with this book.
Yes.
I was like.
But it was designed that way. I wanted to take you from the beginning of relationship where it's all fanciful and, oh, he makes me feel so good. And then you get to the middle and it's like, shit just got real. And I'm seeing some things and I don't know what I should do about it. Should I continue? Should I stop? Should I, talk about this? And it takes you all the way to the end, from beginning to end of a relationship. When we first start, and then how it ends and how you recover or begin to recover from it.
Recovery is hard, though.
It is. And you mentioned earlier about, like, we don't always accept responsibility.
Oh, we don't.
And because it's hard. It's easier for us to find fault in someone else and say, oh, it was his fault because he did X, Y, Z. But I did no wrong.
And we can always see it in other people. We never see it in ourselves, you know. And I've had to take a step back many times and say, listen, are you taking your own
Are you owning your
truth? Are you owning your own shit? And are you seeing yourself?
Yeah.
And that's a hard hit when you see yourself. And I'm not a co-signer. I'm not co-signing foolishness. I'm not co-signing nonsense. And, let's talk about social media and how they co-sign foolishness all the time.
Right.
And then to me, a lot of times what you find are people who look for the cheerleader to cheerlead their nonsense, and that's just not healthy. And you're just staying in your same, not foolishness, except the reality that you held on to this because you felt you earned it and you deserved it. 'Cause I've been through shit. I'm not going to go through shit and think I need to stay here because of this. And you're in denial all the time. And men and women do it all the time.
All the time.
And it's like, well, I mean, we've been together for a while. And so
that time means something to a lot of people. Listen, I've been with this man for 10 years and I'm not going to let him, I put work in him, I invested in him. I'm not going to let some other woman, take what I didn't earn or worked hard for. And it could be a hot, shitty mess. But it's like, I have invested and poured into this person. I'm not going to let some other woman benefit, or in a man, same way. I'm not letting some other man have what I didn't, built.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Things have to end sometimes. And we have to be okay with the ending. Yeah, you have to be okay with it. We're fearful of, like, what's going to happen after this relationship is over, after this marriage is over, after this relationship is over. And we're so fearful of the things we can't see that we'll hold on to something that's very dysfunctional, very toxic, very hurtful to us, because we're so scared of what's on the other side. Yeah, like, this is familiar. I'll stay in the hurt because I know the hurt. I know how to navigate the hurt.
Yeah. And I think people feed off of that. I have seen divorces and I've seen people, and I'm like, you're diabolical.
Wow.
You're ugly. What are you mad about? You're still blaming the other person. Do you not see your fault in this? And I say very little because I don't want to hear the bullshit of where your husband at. It doesn't take a husband to see bullshit and see that you deny and you're lying to yourself. It doesn't take for me to have certain things to see what I'm seeing.
Right.
And I think people, when they're in that relationship hurt, they forget the reality and they forget there's other things going on, and they just wallow in that.
Yeah.
And I mean, the book you wrote really took you through the journey of beginning to end. So in book number two, So I Know It Is Real.
Hashtag So I Know It's Real.
Yes.
So this book picks up where Chasing Unicorns left off. Like I said before, I take you through the journey of relationship beginning to end. And by the end, we see the woman alone, trying to recover from the heartache, the heartbreak. And I truly pick up, like, my introduction, the preface of this, the second one picks up right where the first one ended. And so at this point, we're talking about I mentioned the fear of the unknown and what's on the other side. Well, this picks up what the other side looks like. And so I really talk about the relationship I got into after all of the hurt, all of the healing, all of the recovery, and talk about what that's like compared to what I experienced in Chasing Unicorns.
Do you feel you've truly healed from the reason why you wrote this book into the end of the second book?
I'll say healing is a journey, not a destination. And so I know I can truly say I have worked on a lot of my triggers and how to manage them, but I won't say I'm like completely healed. I don't believe anyone is completely healed. And when they say that, I think they're lying to themselves to say that they don't have to do the work anymore.
You know, I was telling someone that I don't call it baggage or hurt. I call it sand because if you think about sand, you go somewhere and it's everywhere, in every nook and cranny, everywhere in the vehicle. You feel it, you can't get rid of it. You take a bath, you get it all off, and you wash the car. You think you're clear, and you move the car mat, and there's sand. And you vacuum, and then you remember the whole entire day, from the fun to the hell to the now there's sand. You shake something out, there's more motherfucking sand. So like you never really can get rid of it. You can forget about it. You can try to clean it up, but it's always, those grains are always there.
They're always there. And
that's why I think it's really important. We had this conversation on a Facebook post about, was it your post? Should we share, or Miss Instagram?
Yeah.
Should we share our past hurt with our current relationship? And I was like, hell motherfucking yeah, you need to share that hurt. And of course you did the whole interesting why.
Right.
Why do you say so? And I'm like, because. You're like, really? So, you know, and get on my nerves. So
love you.
And I truly believe, and I'm having this dialogue quite a bit over the past few weeks, that it is unfair to walk into any relationship, be it intimate, friendship, whatever, even if it's family who haven't seen you in a while, and they don't know or have an idea of what you've been through. You don't have to tell someone everything you've been through, but it's fair to let them know, you know, the color blue sets me off. So they'll know, let me not bring blue around.
Right.
Because they're walking into a time bomb. Because they never know what you've been through, and you're trying to walk around with this face of just, I'm happy, it's joyous, it's new, I'm fine, nothing's wrong, you're lying.
Right.
And to me, a lot of relationships have those early bad issues because of the lie you walk into. You're trying to put on this front because you want the relationship, and you don't want to be thought of as the person they've been with before. That's why I don't believe in telling somebody what I like or what I don't like.
Yeah, what you looking for?
What you're looking for. I'm not gonna, sidebar, I'm not going to tell you what I'm looking for or what I like, because you're going to act that way. You're going to try to be that way, and I'm not going to do that. And that's just, to me, you should never ask the question, so what do you like in a person? Just be yourself, and you'll figure it out along the way. But I really feel that you have to share certain things, and to me, when you share that information, you've given the other person the opportunity to say yes or no, I want to keep going forward.
Yeah.
And if they walk away, you can't be mad.
Yeah.
Because that's their choice. You may have some trauma I do not feel I am equipped to deal with.
But we have to be at a level of maturity where we can accept that. You know?
And I think very few of us are.
Because part of it, I think, is selfishness. Like, I don't want to give you that choice. And then part of it is I don't want to deal with the pain of your choice.
Right.
So if I show you some things that I know, even if I'm working on it, and it's something I'm still I feel a little shame about, that's difficult for me to share. Now, the other side is when I share, it's a possibility that she may not or he may not accept that part of me. And then how do I deal with being rejected?
Yeah.
You know, and so we won't always share but I will say that it takes time to get to a level where you're that vulnerable with somebody. It doesn't happen overnight.
And
it can,
I'm not,
but I don't think it happens overnight. You have to take some time to develop that rapport
and they don't
with that
understand.
person.
People don't understand that, and it's not that. I don't think it's always walls that you have up, but
it's caution.
I think we all have to be cautious.
Yeah.
And I will say that I feel if you let someone know some of your trauma little by little, whatever that trauma may be, it will also show you if that person's who you need to be with.
Yeah, it does.
Because if they take it and use it against you or look at you like you're crazy, you already know right there.
Never mind.
Because all of our experiences are different. So for me to think my life is the same as your life, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. So we have to share those triggers, people. Gotta share.
But you have to build up resilience. Like I said, you do feel some shame for admitting whatever it is that you're experiencing, you're going through, you've dealt with. But you have to actually build up some resilience against like any kind of reaction that comes with revealing that about yourself. And that takes work too.
Yeah. And people don't have to accept it. They don't have to accept it.
They don't.
And it may reveal also that you are totally fucked up and you need to try not to date for a while.
But honestly though, here's the flip side of it.
Okay.
You don't always see your problems until you're in close relationship. Because when you're by yourself, no one's there to tell you how fucked up you are, right?
Yeah, that's
and you're
true.
Perfect,
that's
and
true.
I'm perfect, Patty.
Yeah.
I got it all together. I done wrote 2 books, y'all. I got a website. I do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And then you get in a relationship with this person. It's like, oh, I still need to work on that thing I thought I had worked on. This is a new thing. I didn't know this bothered me.
And stop blaming the other person. You brought it out of me. No.
It was there.
It's always been
there. It was there. They triggered it, but it was still present.
And because you didn't tell them what your trigger was.
Right.
How
because
could
it'd
they
be the
help
same
you?
person to tell us the same things, and we react totally differently because of the experiences that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
So it may trigger you and it may not trigger me. I'm like, girl, what? You all right? I ain't like what he told me. I'm like, he just said X, Y, Z. I ain't, or vice versa, So it's all about, like, if we do have past experience, we have to acknowledge that this is from a past experience, and it's not always that person. Because sometimes they don't do it intentionally.
Right.
They don't know. Like, especially when we're first meeting someone, they don't know that, like I said, the color blue bothers you. And they show up first day like, bam, with this blue shirt, I'm looking fly. You're like, never mind.
Quit on their ass. Like, what's happening? So let me ask you this. So you're divorced.
Yes.
You have your kiddos.
Mm-hmm.
And I know
baddie with babies. Yes.
Baddie with babies. And I've noticed that you really gear a lot of your help to the newly single parents or the newly divorced. So,
and even just singles in general, like newly single, period. But yeah.
But what have you noticed has been the biggest struggle, or can be the biggest struggle for newly divorced with children, men and women?
On both sides, the guilt of having ended a relationship or a marriage, because especially a marriage, there's a lot of guilt because us as a society, we have the idea that when you marry forever. Right. It's forever, ever, 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 and so when it ends, it's deemed a failure. And that idea to me is problematic because it's a life cycle. Everything is a life cycle. There's birth, there's death. But for some reason, that's one of the few things that I can think of where when it ends, it's a failure. You can quit your job and they're like, girl, good for you. They ain't need you anyway.
Right.
They ain't treat you right anyway, Or, you leave school for whatever reason, like, oh yeah, it ain't work out for you, girl. Leave that stress alone. But when you divorce, it's like, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's no congratulations on that part. Like, so do you think y'all could reconcile? Like, y'all really can't get it together?
Yeah.
Really? It ended, But for some reason, we can't wrap our mind around things ending and it be good, a good thing in terms of
you're not
marriage.
Sometimes you not really outgrow, but it's run its course.
It's run its course, right?
And it's a mutual understanding, but we always want to assume, some of us, oh, what did he do?
Mm-hmm. Or what you do?
Or what'd you do?
Because people are bold. What you did wrong?
And their truth comes out how they feel about you. A lot of times I've noticed.
Yeah.
Well, you are kind of, oh, really? So that's how you feel about me? Well, I didn't want to tell you, but he was. What do you mean? So people love to like.
He wasn't good for you, no way. I knew that from the beginning.
That way? That's how you felt, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I know you're doing something right now, and you're doing some beta testing on helping newly divorced or newly single people on how to manage their life, how to manage their money. So tell us about that. What is that?
So one of the other things that I noticed about dealing with particularly single mothers is that they have a hard time bouncing back because of the finances. That becomes a issue for them because it's a loss of income. And so one fun fact, when you type in single parents, often you do a search. More often than not, you'll find more information about single moms than single dads. That's because moms usually get custody of the kids.
Right.
And you're not really a single dad unless you actually have the kid physically in your home. So predominantly, single parents are predominantly single mothers, right? And then even the dads that have custody of their kids, they often find someone very quickly. And so they're not single anymore. They're just dads. And so they don't have that financial crisis that single mothers experience.
Okay.
Because they already had their little boo thing. They probably had a boo thing before they ended it. That's a different story.
We're not doing that today. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I'm just saying.
Don't comment nothing. I don't want to hear shit from y'all for that comment. Okay. Carry on.
And single mothers, they're often shamed because it's their fault. They couldn't keep their man. They couldn't, And so when you have single mothers, they have the custody of their kids. And so they have less time. They also lost their income, the second income. So they're trying to juggle finances, juggle parenting alone. And so, and dealing with the actual breakup. So, you have several things going on at one time. And that is like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And people really can break because if they don't have the proper support.
Yeah. And
so my program, it focuses on twofold, the emotional aspect and the finances. I know I can't talk to you about your emotions when you got to pay these bills.
Yeah, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. It's like,
I can't tell you about self-care, and you like, I can't even go get a massage. I don't, I don't have.
My life probably could get turned off.
My life turned off, or I can't see that in my budget. That's not in the budget right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the financial aspect of it, I'm talking about budgeting.
Yes.
I'm talking about how to find money in your budget, because a lot of times we don't understand that we do have the money. Sometimes we just allocate it in the wrong ways. I'm talking about credit, how to get your credit on track. And I do have some aspects of self-care and how to, deal with the emotions. And as part of that, I do one-on-one coaching sessions. I do group sessions. And I also do weekly affirmations with my group. And I do journaling because writing for me has been very therapeutic, as we mentioned earlier. So I do some writing activities, and we have some group activities surrounding the writing, which may be another book.
I feel a retreat and a book coming.
Yes,
I think this should be a seminar, like a weekend seminar.
We should chat about that.
I feel a weekend seminar.
Universe,
I know quite a few people.
Put it out there.
I know quite a few people who are actually on the stream right now, watching Facebook Live or my watch party, that are excellent when it comes to relationship conversation, and there's some men, there's women, but I see a weekend conference situation happening.
I like that.
How many men and how many women do you have signed up doing your beta testing?
I don't have any men right now. I
hate that.
I know, but I have women. I have 5 women I'm working with right now.
So is it too late to get somebody to sign up?
It's kind of late now because we're about halfway through what we're working on, and so it may be a little too much to catch up because it's also like weekly assignments. I'm not only teaching, there's homework that goes with it. I'm a teacher by profession, and so we got homework. I'm gonna teach, and then you gotta apply.
Okay.
So it may be a little too late to catch up on the work. So I am doing a new cohort in October, and I'm accepting applications. That's on my website, racheldgarrison.com/coaching, and you can see all the information there and how you can apply to become part of the next cohort.
And it's going to be in October. So
in October.
So this is going to end the end of this month? When will this one end, this beta testing?
The beta test, because the program is actually 12 weeks, but for beta test, I'm only doing the 8.
Okay.
And so it will end in 4 more weeks. Yeah, beginning of September, yeah.
Okay, so everyone, October is going to be a new cohort. We need some men to sign up for this.
That would be great.
It'd be great. Men folk tuning in, share this with your men people. Men folks, because it's not only about, like, and my friend Gia, love you. I love you, Gia, to death. I do. She swears I'm a male advocate. She's like, you're the male advocate. I'm really not.
Really?
She really thinks I am. And I give men a hard time on the regular
You really
basis.
do. That's all. Like,
I
really?
really do. I really do. But I there's so much out there for us to find just support, even if it's just like hold my hand and to talk to you. But like you said, there are the men who are single dads right now. I know a few who are single dads doing it by themselves because the mom is like, all right, I'm good. I birthed him.
Right.
You good? I'm out.
Right.
And they don't get this. They don't get the support. They don't get what they need. And it'd be really great to get that type of support and sit down and talk to people who are in the same situation as them. But a lot of men feel no one's going to understand me. They're going to feel it's my fault. They don't think I need help. I'm struggling just like everybody else.
Or they don't want to express their feelings, which is another
because
issue
a lot
totally
of time,
outside of the breakup and the divorce or whatever.
Because I think a lot of times, and I had the male therapists who were on who shut me
that was
completely
a wonderful
down.
show.
They shut me down when I said men don't want to talk to women. Yes, they do. I'm like, hey, don't yell at me right now. But I think we men get shut down though, and I think that with men getting shut down, it's like, you know what, forget it. Talking about it's not gonna say, it's not gonna give me money. They're gonna put the food on the table.
Yeah.
And I think women who are single raising kids have that mentality now. It's like, I don't want to talk about this. Where the money after the light bill? Where's this?
Because you do have to get in that survival mode.
Survival mode.
Especially right after a breakup, you go into that survival mode. Okay, I need to like get it together. I need to maintain or gain and or maintain some stability for my children and for me. So you do kind of go into that robotic mentality. Okay, this is the schedule. This is what we're doing until you get to a point where your mind lets you go there and unpack that stuff.
So what is your coaching? What is this session called for your coaching?
It's called Bouncing Back After Breakup.
Okay. So
BBB.
What's the cost? What do they need to do? What's the materials they'll get when y'all sign up in October?
Yes, I have all the information on my website.
Okay.
But right now, if they sign up before October, they get half off.
Nice.
And the information is all on the website.
So you need to go to the website. It's going to be in the description. Have the links.
RachelDGarrison.com/coaching.
And I'll make sure I put it out there again come October, before October when I'm on vacation. I'll push it out there. Push it out there for you. So, and I think it's amazing. I think you really need to do like a weekend retreat.
That's a thought. I'm just thinking about that. Yeah.
I mean, I know
give
people,
me extra work, y'all. Y'all see trying to give me extra work?
I know people. My friend Janae Strickland Nunn, who has the Confessions from a Red Couch. She is really into uplifting, and she has a book out right now that I think we can roll into this.
Hey,
Janae, I'm just saying, Janae, roll into this.
Send me that friend request.
And I have a few other friends. Clarence Singleton, who does a show every Tuesday. He's awesome with relationship talk. We can just do a whole big thing.
Hey,
look at me putting everybody to work.
We about to do this,
and I'm calling them out.
We about to do this. And we're talking about we about to get this together. So y'all send me a friend request. Yes. Put your name in the chat. Let me know. I'm looking for you. Yes.
Yes. So look at me. I'm putting all y'all to work.
You too. We're gonna throw you in the mix.
Wait, hold on.
You're not just attending.
I am not the expert on the relationship. I'll support though, because people don't want to hear my opinion.
See how folks do.
You don't want to hear my opinion.
See how folks do.
My opinion is totally
valid.
Yeah,
they're totally valid.
Wait a minute. Yeah. And exactly, Michael, who's chiming on Facebook Live, says men are told to man up and deal with it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
and we raise our children that way. Man up, deal with it.
And I have 2 boys, and so that is my struggle with teaching them balance. You know, like I don't want whiny boys, and y'all can say what y'all want to say on Facebook Live. I don't care, but I do want my kids to be able to emote. But I want them to have that balance. Like, you ain't got to cry about everything. Right. So I am striking that balance between, helping them to express, to emote, but then also, how to manage that as well.
Yeah, because they should have they should express themselves, though.
Yeah, because I don't want them to be like, I got to man up and I can't talk about nothing to nobody. And then we got all these men right now. We got a generation of men right now on this. I can't talk to nobody. Nobody cares about what I think or feel. I just got to pay these bills and show up and be present.
The reality is that here I go, because I'm going to hear from my friends. The reality is we want them to be emotionally mature and aware.
Yeah.
But when it's time for them to express themselves, we treat them like shit sometimes. Some of us.
We can. That's
and
our fault.
we can. Let me tell you something. The woman's mouth can tear the shit down of something.
You're right.
In 5 seconds.
But then
your whole life is done.
But that speaks to where she is also.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But it's there though, and it happens. And I think if we, like you said, if you raise the boys to be aware, and the women and young girls to not do that, but they also do what they see. So they see mama doing, they're probably gonna do the same thing as well, or auntie or grandma. Yeah. If we teach them not to be belittling in our conversation and make them tell a man to man up, is not gonna make him man up. No. It's gonna make him angry. It's
gonna make him angry and have walls.
And it's gonna he may man up, but he may be a mean
women gotta try to break down. So
we need to be aware of how we communicate as well, and teach that at a very young age. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's discuss a few go into relationship groups together.
Yeah, we have some good fun.
And you have your own group for hot topics, which is interesting. And let me tell you something about Rachel, y'all. Rachel she's a true educator and a true therapist, because she will never let you just answer a question. She tends to want you to give her more. That's interesting. What do you mean? You know what the hell I mean when I said what I said. You know what I said, and you know what I meant when I said it. Well, you want me to just want to pull it more out of me, huh? You just wanted to give you a whole paragraph. So, and I can't stand it. So why do you
love reading the comments, though?
I love reading the comments. It's because it's ridiculous. I have to not respond because my response may not be what you want to hear.
It ain't got to be what anybody wants to hear,
and I don't care.
Believe.
And I don't.
So go ahead and post whatever it is.
Whatever. Like, I think there was one post in Mixing Single. Love her. T. Dot. Follow her, and follow that group in her podcast as well. Mixing Single. About what was it? The one. Damn it! Because you posted it there and somewhere else and somewhere else.
Oh, the one I posted about should she? This is about being by direct. And so the post was, if a woman hints at something, should she be direct about it, or should the man just offer the help where he sees it? And so we got some mixed reviews on that. But one thing was consistent, I think, was the woman should always be direct. Now, whether or not he actually helps her or not is up to him, but the woman must always be direct.
Yes.
But the man can have some leeway on, like, if he help her or not. And if they're in a relationship.
But why is it leeway? Why is it leeway?
I'm
You're neutral to the whole situation?
I don't quite understand. Like, if we're in a relationship, and if I directly ask you for help, and you don't, that may be a problem.
May be factual. He may not be.
But when you problem.
See, that's the thing though. I don't like game playing, and I think hinting is game playing. And I got time. I can't read your mind, because you can't read my mind.
But on the flip, if I hint and you do get in, you do choose not to do, that's something different.
Don't hint with me, because you may be hinting and my mind is somewhere else, not even thinking about what. We talk to people, and they may not really be fully paying attention anyway. I'm not trying to be funny, but okay, baby, I hear you. Yes, what's going on? And they're not really listening to you. We have our own lives. We have our own shit that's going on. But if you need something, don't hint. Just say, "Hey, baby, listen. I need some help with this." Then it's like, "Oh, you need," because I bet you'd be like, "Oh, you need some help," because they weren't paying attention anyway. Okay, let me see what I can do. If they can't. You can't be mad if they can't, because sometimes they can't. Yeah. And we can't get mad if someone doesn't want to help us. That's not even ours to be mad about.
I don't know if I agree and I disagree. What you're saying,
The thing about it is this. A lot of women feel the man should help, but I don't have to help him.
Now, see, that's something totally different, though.
And that's maybe his trauma he went through, where I have helped and helped and helped.
But it may be her trauma for not asking. Because we already know when women start asking for stuff, when women start asking for stuff, oh, she a gold digger. Even if it's not monetary, like if I help with this one thing, it's gonna keep adding. She's gonna ask for this, and she's gonna ask for more. She's gonna keep pushing the limits.
Because I bet you they do. I'm not trying to be funny.
No, I'm saying it has happened. Absolutely happened. But don't just say, oh, she just playing games. That may actually have been the situation. That may have been her past experience where, like, when I've asked directly for things, I've been denied these things. or, I've been considered to be this person, which I'm not, and I didn't like that label attached to me. And I did see something about, somebody else posted something similar about the men, saying like, oh, if I help, then I'm considered, or whatever, and I've been taken advantage of because I've helped in that way, and I don't want that to happen again. I don't want that label, so I won't help either.
And like I said, I think it rubs some people the wrong way. I was okay. Okay, because I said, and this was not a knock in any way, but when you have the constant air of independence, be a man or woman, and I got this, I don't need it, I got this, you can't do for me, all these things, it pulls people away from seeing you even need help. If you're always so strong and never even asking for something all the time, or you always pushing people away, people tend to think, well, she got it. They don't even think you asking for help. You're not even on their radar that you may need assistance. There are more Captain Save-A-Hoes in this world than a little bit. There are men who want to help and women who want to help, but they're helping the ones who always seem like they need some help. You get that mixed signal of
the damsel in distress.
I
can't get
tell
together.
me all the time, well, you don't get help. I said, well, I can do it myself. What's the problem?
But see, I think I made a post about this maybe about 2 weeks ago. I say I'm pretty much over the strong black woman narrative.
Yeah.
It's like the black woman has to take care of everything. She has to be the nurturer, the provider, the emotional laborer, the provider of all things, like monetary and non-monetary, to the point where when you show those vulnerabilities, it's kind of like, nah, that's not what we do. We don't
and people don't
do these things. When it's your responsibility to be strong. You're a strong black woman.
Yeah, they don't
you
understand
got this.
it.
You can handle this. And so when you start to show those characteristics that are not of a strong black woman, then it's you have some weaknesses.
They don't understand it.
And I'm over that.
So, like, for example, when my mom passed away in 2014, very few people asked me, how am I doing?
Oh, yeah.
Very few people. They asked me, and I'm not knocking anything. This is just my reality, and this is my truth. They asked me, how's sister doing? How's Terry doing? She okay?
Really?
How everybody doing?
Wow.
But very few people, because very few ask me,
because
how
you're
are
the
you doing?
one.
They assume that I was doing better, or I didn't need to be asked if I was okay, but they asked how she was doing. And it bothered me because, like,
my mama too.
My
mama too.
I'm tired. Am I shit?
Right.
But I couldn't be mad because for so long. I hope you're drinking water. Leave me alone. My brother. It's
hey, brother.
Tea. It's sweet tea.
She's drinking water and minding her business. That's what she's
doing. It bothered me but then I had to realize, what are they seeing and what am I exuding that I put off this air of I got this, and I got this. I may be crying inside, but before I used to ask for help, I'll just say I don't want to. So I put on this strong front all the time, to where it's like, well, we know you good.
But that's the misconception. You can be strong and still be hurting.
But I can't be mad. The thing is, you can't be mad at someone who thinks or assuming you do not need help when you always exude that you got it. So when you don't have it, they don't recognize it. They'll be like, oh, I know you got it. So how everybody else doing? They good? And I had to realize I cannot be upset at what I'm putting out there. I can't be upset about that. So,
but at the same time, you can't really change or affect how people perceive you either. So you may not always be putting out that you're the strong black woman, but people perceive you that way. You can't change people's perceptions either.
They have their own issues. It's a whole other conversation.
Right.
That's a whole other show.
If they're not as strong as you are, then you are the strong person. So
and it bothers
how
them.
can I possibly help her? She got it all together.
Yeah, and
that's their own shit.
Because we all handle things differently. We all do things differently. We all grieve differently. We just go through things differently, and we have to realize that we're not all the same in anything that we do. Not all the same, and we just have to maneuver that. But I think that was an interesting Facebook post that you had it everywhere. I'm like, she wanted to know everybody's opinion about this, right? It's just interesting.
But you also mentioned about like grief with your mom. I lost both of my parents, and I lost my mom last year. But
sorry.
That's fine. Thank you. But the point I wanted to make though is that any relationship is the same way. And people oftentimes forget that you lost someone. Like people come to the funeral They might even make you a little dish after.
A whole bunch of food.
A whole bunch of food. Get you cakes, pies, and everything else. But then as the days go on, people tend to go back to their everyday life and they forget that you still are grieving. Like, yes, I buried my mother 2 months ago, but that does not mean I have processed and released or don't feel anything towards that death. And the same thing in relationships. People assume, oh, y'all broke up like five months ago, 2 weeks ago. You still crying over that dude?
Yes,
you still?
Thank you.
And it's like, yes, that is still a loss that I experienced, and people don't always acknowledge the grief associated with relationships and the loss.
And I was telling a friend of mine a few years ago that when it comes to grief in anything, I said, don't let anyone come and tell you you're gonna be okay. If you want to grieve,
you gotta feel that.
If you want to go off and yell. Don't let anyone try to tell you how to grieve.
Right.
And tell you you're gonna be okay, because you're not.
Yeah.
Any type of breakup, any type of loss, you're not going to be. You're going to be changed. Everything we go through, every transition that we go through, be it a loss of life, a exiting of someone in your life, whatever it is, you will never be okay again. You'll be different.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
It will change you. And it changes how you think about things, how you see things, how you process. And it may wake you up to realize, oh, I was full of shit before. I was lying to myself before. And this is my reality now. Because for me, my life is, I think of my life, Orleanian, October 2014 to now. Everything before that was something totally different. And that's where the new chapter begins. And I think people have to realize you're never truly healed from anything, because something will trigger you to remember and bring it back up again. You may not cry anymore.
Right.
You may have to write it out like you did here, but it's still there.
Right.
And yours is in black and white. I ain't ever gonna write my shit down ever.
Don't do it. Don't withhold us of that. All that.
Oh no!
All that.
Listen, if I wrote
somebody's healing is in your story.
If I wrote a book, no
books. We're gonna put an S on that.
Skeletons is gonna stay right.
Elise has some books coming out.
Gonna stay right
in the next couple of years.
I'll put it on tape and have you write it for me.
Okay. We could collab on that.
We're not doing that. We're not
get it
down.
down.
We're gonna work on this. We're gonna work on the
Or
weekend
how about
retreat.
I write something and include you and it'll be anonymous.
Oh no.
You said no? Not
No,
anonymous?
We're not going to do that. We're not ever going to do that. No, we could. We probably could. But so you're an educator. You're a life coach. You're an influencer. You're a creator. You're creative. So what made you want to start helping other people besides just the books? What was the catalyst for, I want to actually make it bigger than just this? I know you saw a need, but what made you feel that I can do more than just this?
So before I published my books, I started Hot Topic. You mentioned Hot Topic. And for those of you who don't follow me on social media, Hot Topic is a hot button question usually related to relationships. And I started those in 2016. And I initially posted just like a question, not so much expecting a response. But people started to respond. And I started asking more questions, and people started to answer. And then I started getting...
Like a wave.
Yeah, I started to get the response like, man, I really enjoy your hot topics. Man, I really enjoy... And it gets me thinking about, some things I never thought about, I never considered. Because then you get to see other people's perspective on things. Or just a question alone will get you thinking about yourself, kind of send you to yourself. And as time has gone on, people have reached out to me. Like, they'll start inboxing me stuff like, okay, you the relationship person, so let me ask you, sometimes like, well, you have some of that love stuff. Let me get your feedback on this love stuff. Yeah, that's when they mad. Like, let me get this love stuff. I can't do this love stuff. Or, something's going on in their relationship or their marriage, and they need someone to talk to or get some advice from, or just to be a sounding board, or some kind of like strategies of how do I deal with this. People have started to like reach out and ask. And so I have been doing it for a while and not really realizing it's like, I'm just talking to my friends. These are my friends that they need help, and
So you've always been a therapist.
Well, not always, but like in the past, probably the past 3 years or so.
No one just starts doing this, and you've probably always done it.
Maybe.
And you're now noticing it
Yeah.
now, like, wait a minute. Because once you go through things, then you notice, like, have I always been doing this? And then,
From what I recall, I would say like the last 3 years, I may have, before then, but when I start to realize it's probably in the past 3 years, and then people start saying, you should be a life coach, you should be a therapist, you should be a counselor. And I was like, whatever. But then like I started thinking about all the people that I've talked to, all the people I've helped. I was like, well, I kind of already
exactly
do it, So that's how.
So you have a gift, and you're blessing other people with that gift. You're helping other people, and that's also in a form of therapy for yourself as well.
It is.
So when you help other people, how much of that has, like I said, help you as well? Like, oh wait, I have another healing happen here. Oh wait a minute, I'm saying this, but I didn't see this in myself initially. So how has that been?
That has happened
you?
oftentimes where I'm talking to someone about their situation, and I'm literally talking to myself about something that happened.
Don't you hate that though sometimes.
And I say it, and I pause, and it's like, God damn.
Okay.
Because it's you. You don't always see your stuff, but when you can see it in someone else.
Yeah.
But when you see the similarities between the two, you can't deny like
that reality is.
I actually
ugly.
reached out to the dude, the Chasing Unicorns dude, after an incident I had like 3 months ago, and I said something to someone, and it reminded me of him and like how that all went. And I actually reached out to him, like explain something I really didn't have to explain, but realizing like another part of my shit, that came into the relationship, I had to like own. And so I really had to go back and say, hey, I need to explain something to you. I know, this is not a get back with you thing. However, I do want to apologize for XYZ, and this is why this occurred in this way, because this is what I'm now seeing was my shit. Wow. So it happens.
You know how many men would love for that to happen? And I'm not saying that, men are always right, because y'all asses are not.
Hello.
What I'm saying is, though, they always think we never apologize. We never own up to our shit. And we don't.
Sometimes. Yeah.
It's because because some of us can be so diabolical and just like, and run with it. And wrong and real strong. And it's like, oh, shit, I was wrong. But if you didn't that's not how that's.
You see your brothers? He's talking mess.
Ignore.
I see you.
Ignore him.
I see you, Mr. George.
Ignore him. That's my older brother. That's the oldest of all of us. And he thinks he's funny with his old ass. He thinks he's funny. I said it. It's with love. Love you. Leave me alone. To wrap things up.
Okay.
I want to say thank you so much for coming, because this is really informative. I want you to really think about doing like a weekend thing and expanding on what you have. If you need some help setting it up, I'll be happy to help you set it up.
Now y'all heard her, and she said she would help.
And Janae is already on board. She's like, I need to be part of the Hot Topic group, and let's do this. Janae's like, let's do this. So you already have help right there. So once again, tell us about your books. Tell us about what's coming in October and what's coming next. Your retreat. Go ahead.
The retreat. So what already has happened are my 2 books. Chasing Unicorns is a book of poetry, and it takes you through the relationship stages from beginning to end, post. And hashtag So I Know It's Real is a collection of poetry and prose that picks up right where Chasing Unicorns left off, and gives you a little more insight on what healthy dating and relating could look like. So those are my books. And then my website, racheldgarrison.com. You can find, you can actually order your signed copies there, as well as get some nice, good merch. I have some nice shirts for my ladies that say my love is magical. I also have one for my ladies that says be vulnerable, so I know it's real. And I have some shirts for my men that say these arms are magical. And I have some tanks for my mommies that say baddies with babies, because that's what we are. And also, like I said, I've started my coaching program. We're currently in beta testing, and we will be rolling out a new cohort in October. And you can get some information about that on my website as well, on the coaching tab. And then I said I wasn't going to write this year, since I wrote 2 books last year. I said I was going to sit my ass down somewhere this year.
No.
But you know how that goes. So I have some things I've been kind of like working on in my head. I haven't written anything down yet. Well, I wrote a little bit, just a little bit. But so I have a journal possibly coming out, not this year, probably next year, with some writing prompts, and another book for my children.
A children's book?
No, not a children's book. A book for my children.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a book to my son.
Oh, that's nice.
So.
Oh. So we have your books. We have your so after the beta, so you definitely want to know, you definitely want to do October. So your testing is going well. October, website, coaching, they sign up. Boom. It's going to be a 12-week course.
Yes.
So if
it's
you really
half course, half coaching. So you have a blend of both.
So if you really want, and it's all online, correct? So you don't have to go anywhere. You just sit at home,
right?
Log in and do it. So you don't have to worry about finding a babysitter, those type of things.
Exactly.
And you can be anyone, right? You don't have to be like a single parent or anything. Or do you just really want to do single parents?
Right now, it's single parents. If you want one-on-one sessions with me, that's possible as well. You just reach out to me via my website. But the actual program is a group program specifically for single parents. But the one-on-one coaching is available to anyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
This was fun.
I had fun.
I was worried about you trying to have me talk about myself, though. I was.
That's another show.
I threatened her in the elevator, like, listen, don't ask me shit.
Now we do like a single, what's that? Single folk shit. Part 3.
Part 3 is coming.
And you know, if I'm requested back, then we might get into it.
I'm still not gonna answer questions. I am the deflection queen. I'm telling you this right now. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We have Cameron, we have Michael, my brother Tony, as you see is Marius George, Debbie.
I saw my friend Maria on there.
A lot of people were in.
Thank
you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please share this. Share for everyone so they can get this good information. And remember that in October, another cohort's coming out.
Yeah.
Coaching from Rachel D. Garrison. It's going to be amazing. Go to her website. I have everything in the description. And the show should be up tonight, probably everywhere, YouTube, all those good places as well. But you can always find it here on Facebook. So share the good news. And I'll be back here next week for episode number 12. And that will be my good friend, Clarence Fontenot Jr., a.k.a. Choppa. And it's called 2 Hearts and 1 Life. And he is a young man in his 40s that has had 3 hearts in his life.
Wow.
He had his original he was born with, a transplant when he was entering high school, and his second one 6 years ago. Wow. And so we're going to sit down with him for a little bit and talk about his life and his journey. This is all about journeys this month. And the last show is going to be another awesome journey show. But Rachel, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate
for having me.
You will be back again at some point in time.
Hey, yes.
And we're gonna work on the retreat. I'll have the information out for y'all probably early 2020 for the retreat. And the coaching is going to be a whole weekend thing. I'm speaking into existence. Okay.
We will do like a rooftop soon.
Ooh.
We'll
that would be nice.
Yeah, my Facebook friends know I love a rooftop, and
that
every once in a while I do some rooftop events. And so yeah,
that would be
so
a nice
my Facebook friends, stay posted for some nice little rooftops when the weather cools off.
It's not now.
Not now.
It's 105 degrees out here. Not now. Probably like
usually like October-ish, you know.
Yeah. Meet me in December. No, meet me in November. 70 below. Okay. But definitely, I want to say thank you so much. Hopefully, I covered everything I wanted to cover. I don't remember I covered everything I wanted to cover. But I really want you to talk about your classes that you're doing and your books. And I think it's amazing. And I think you're amazing. And you're a beautiful, wonderful spirit.
Thank you.
And I loved your book. So I wanted the world to hear about your book. And yeah. So thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.